You got to take care of him.
Okay, that's
They're here.
Okay, Terry, 6 o'clock.
Okay. I have my Algonac Rock gavel. I call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. It's a special city council meeting, Tuesday, April 28th, 2020. May I have roll call, please?
Mr. Bembas?
Here.
Mr. Blair?
Here.
Mr. Gillis?
Here.
Mr. Martin?
Here.
Mrs. Meldrum?
here.
Mr. Scarbeck?
Here.
Mayor Stoneburner?
Here.
All present.
Right now, while we take our moment of silent prayer, please keep everyone in your thoughts and prayers that are affected by the virus that we're all experiencing the effects of. Will everyone please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance
To the flag
to the flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation,
Under
under
God,
God,
indivisible.
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and justice for all.
At this time, it is the time in our meeting where we take public comments. Keep in mind that you have a 5-minute limit. State your name and where you live. City manager, do you have all the microphones on so they can speak?
There's no public on right now. Oh wait, Diane is on if she wants to say anything.
Hearing no public comments, we'll go right into our new business. What we're here for tonight is to discuss the proposed 2020 through 2021 budget. May I have a motion, please? To discuss.
So moved. Support.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Gillis?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mrs. Meldrum?
Yes,
Yes.
Mayor Stoneburner?
Yes.
Mr. Bembas?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. At this time, I'll turn over our for the presentation from our city manager.
Thank you, Mayor Stoneburner. So a reminder that all of the city council members do have in their packet a copy of the PowerPoint presentation so that you may follow along. Those of you that have video capabilities are able to view the presentation on the screen. We do have Linda Mackey here, our treasurer, and we have Joe Doan here, and of course myself and the city clerk to answer any questions you may have. So today is a special council meeting where we are here to present the budget and answer any questions and get any comments from council about it. There are no motions necessary today other than if you wanted to add or subtract anything to the budget as presented. So we'll start off with the PowerPoint presentation today. Let's see. And we're going to start off by talking about the 2019 and 2020 accomplishments we had this year. At the beginning of this fiscal year, we had our first ever business city council meeting. We updated our emergency sirens. We started our fire department life-saving awards as well as our survival coin awards. We had our Great Gatsby Gala. We received the 2019 CTO Foundation Life Jacket Loaner Grant, and we've had quite a bit of use of those life jackets on the riverfront. In the city of Elgin, we planted the Janet Jerness Memorial Garden at the Lions Field. And the city worked with Between You and I to start planning a new playground in Elginak. We started to work with RISA on our waterfront park Wi-Fi. We implemented a new employee cell phone policy. We started the installation of new nautical street signs. We received a grant for new patio tables, umbrellas, and other items for our pool. We started the first city newsletter on the back of our water bills, and we had the first 70s dance party. We identified 815 Mill as a dangerous building, and the structure was demolished with a new home built. We received a grant to install free smoke detectors for our Elginak homeowners. The city hosted Keller Williams Employee Service Project and received help painting 280 plus city fire hydrants. We had the first Elginak glow-in-the-dark Easter egg hunt. We worked with the Woodside Bible Church volunteer group to clean up Columbia Park. Completed the Washington and Cole Road and water main projects. Supported the installation of live stream camera at the Riverfront Park and worked with Walpole Island on the ferry port redesign. We also painted the gazebo and added lights. We hosted the wine, beer, and cocktail event in Riverfront Park, implemented a new flood prevention ordinance, supported refurbishment of the Elginak State Park, supported the community during high water, installed a new sign for Lions Field on M29, hosted the Bourbon Brews and Barbecue at Riverfront Park, declared a local flood emergency. And it's important to note that we accomplished all these things as a team this year, in spite of the fact that we had the flood emergency and had a lot of community emergencies last year. We also revised and updated all our building and trade permit applications, started a property check program for snowbirds, and we received a grant to install outdoor musical instruments in Riverfront Park, which are sitting at DPW waiting to be installed, but we haven't installed them because the kids can't play on them right now. The city of Elginak was noted in the media as one of the coziest towns in Michigan. We purchased a lighted fire truck for our Christmas display outside. We ordered a lighted police car and tractor for next Christmas. We awarded a contract for a new city website, and our new website is up and running. We had the first Pierogi Fest, the first season of slow rolling bike rides. We held a 9/11 remembrance service, participated in Michigan Teal, a statewide ovarian cancer awareness campaign. We were highlighted in Great Lakes Scuttlebutt magazine. We remained in the top 17% of all Michigan fire departments with a high ISO rating. We hosted the Blue Water Wonderland Girl Scout event. Demolished 121 Kenyon, started an online payment system for water bills and taxes, and we started a robust rental housing inspection program. We removed the fence surrounding the skate park, adopted a new city logo, hired a new engineering consultant. So that's quite an extensive list. So I'd really like to compliment the City Council on what an excellent job that you have done this year. I mean, we faced a lot of challenges with the high water, and we didn't get done quite as much as I had hoped that we did, but my gosh, did you accomplish a lot. So congratulations to all of you for working together and really doing an awesome job.
Well, kudos also to you and our employees, because without them and you, this wouldn't have happened as well.
Well, thank you. So I would like to then continue to go into our budget for next year. So the first slide shows you the 2020-2021 budget, our general fund revenues. As you can see, our property taxes will be increasing about 3.2%. Our state revenue is expected to increase about 1.9%, and our CVTRS of 1.7 for a total increase of 2.9%. Now, this was done a couple of months ago before COVID. We are expecting to see probably somewhat a reduction in revenue sharing, but we won't know any more on that for a couple of months. General fund, we talked about our personnel summary. You can see from 2018, we have the same number of full-time employees. We have 2 fewer part-time employees. This year, it is proposed that the city offer holiday pay to our paid-on-call firefighters. The impact to the budget annually is estimated at $3,500 based on calls over the past year. Our first responders do an excellent job, and it's very difficult to recruit new first responders. And we thought that this was the least we could do to show our appreciation to our fire department. It's also proposed that we advance the existing labor to Utility 1 and increase compensation for the seasonal employee from $12 per hour to $14 per hour. We are finding it very difficult to recruit people for positions at that $12 pay rate. Moving on to capital, which would be our projects $5,000 or greater for local roads. We are proposing a crack ceiling program of $20,000. This is something we do, crack ceiling usually every other year. Also to do robins, which would be mill resurfacing and adding shoulder. For major roads, crack ceiling once again. And for Michigan, we also propose Michigan Street. We would do engineering this year, and then that project would be partially funded through federal grants next year. So engineering only this year. We move on to water main. We're proposing to do the Robin Street water main in conjunction with the road project at a cost of $234,000. That would be from State Street to the end. The water plant has put in a request for a strainer. The water plant chemical building needs a new roof, and they need the SCADA system upgraded. The SCADA system is what monitors the levels of chemicals and toxins in the water. As we move on to sanitary sewer, the asset management plan for storm and sanitary sewer. This would be the first phase of the SAW grant that would be investigating the pipes that carry the sewage as well as stormwater runoff from streets, lawns, and fields. In the motor pool fund, we've proposed to replace the 2003 Chevy Impala. That is the vehicle that's currently driven by the fire chief. Moving on to capital projects, we have proposed to install banner arms on the solar lights in the Riverfront Park and banners. Proposing a new gate and fence replacement at our DPW. Continuing our Riverfront Wi-Fi program, and we also need a new server. We are applying for a grant for fire department radios along with adjacent communities. Obviously, it's mostly funded by the grant with a small portion required for city matching. Same with the fire department extrication tools. A grant would pay for the majority of that. The City Hall parking lot and driveway repairs, that is an ongoing project. Some is going to be done this year. We've put in money to install Welcome to Elginak signs at both ends of the city. And we've put in some money to work on the Riverfront Park public restroom. We did not get the grant, as you know, to redo the chamber building, so we put in some money to do some work on that. The 2021 budget fee schedule, which would start July 1st of 2021. So you can see on the presentation what the current fees and what the proposed fees are. The water fees are increased to reflect what the city actually costs to provide services. We also did research in what our other adjacent and local communities charge so that we are charging similarly. We are also adding some penalties for non-compliance. When we have to send things to the city attorney, it costs us additional money. When landlords fail to respond to our request for rental inspection non-compliance, and we have to get an administrative warrant. So we have added some penalty fees there to hopefully encourage them to pay attention to the importance of complying with the city requests. And also we've added some fees for illegal connections to the sanitary sewer. Right now there is no penalty for being illegally connected, so we've added a $500 penalty, and after notice, if you don't fix it, it's an additional $100 per day. This is the same thing that adjacent communities have. And then,
Denise,
yes.
I'm noticing on that page under the current, there's a lot of zeros in here.
Yeah.
Why? I'm confused on why there's never been a charge on this in the past. You would think some of these are sewer inspection 0. I mean, water tap 0. That's amazing that the city would still be doing that stuff for 0 amount of money. That's crazy.
Yes, it is. That's why we're now charging the costs. I mean, we should not be giving these things away for free. So that's why we're implementing the charges to cover the costs that we incur.
I'm just stunned that it wasn't there to begin with. Actually, I'm shocked by that.
Well, we're remedying that now. So thank you.
Wonderful.
And then our last slide is just an update on where we're at with the pool. You can see the costs that have been incurred for the pool. And then as of last year, we started to track, as you can see, the number of kids taking swimming lessons and where they are from. The number of passes purchased, the $35 single pass, the number of passes, $30 for 20 visits, the family passes at $100, and the number of visits to the pool. Just so that we'll have even more information this next summer, just so you can see the demographics and where people are from and who's using the pool. Some people are taking swimming lessons. So, does anyone have any questions on that? Okay, so that is the last slide. So if there's anything in particular you would like to discuss or have any questions?
I have a couple questions. When we're replacing the Chevy Impala, will that be sold, the old one, or will we be using it elsewhere in the city?
We do not have plans to use it elsewhere in the city. We would sell it.
Okay. And then one other thing, on the major road, you have Michigan Street. I know we talked about it at one of the meetings, and I'm not sure if it was Planning Commission or if it was, and this was probably last year. Did we ever find out if the train tracks are still there between Liberty and M29 on Michigan, that will have to be taken out as well, be part of that project?
The train track. I do not know the answer
Okay.
to that. I can ask. This is a project that we had to submit to the county because it's a project eligible for federal aid. So we submitted it 3 years ago, and we were slotted for next year's transportation improvement program. So the year prior to construction, you start with the engineering, and then the second year is when you do the construction. It's typically an 80% federal dollars, 20% city match.
Okay. All right. And then I know the state it's all over the news what's happening with the state budget and the different revenues that are going to be different after we're done with this virus and everything that comes with it. But with the state revenue sharing, knowing we'll take a hit, and everybody will, is there something that you're looking at in here that we might want to pop out of there, or would it be a little bit all over the place to make up the difference?
Linda and I had discussed this earlier. Since we don't know exactly what to expect, we decided that it would be best to go as what we had proposed, and if we needed to make an amendment, in August, September, when we had more information, we could do so then.
I think that's a good idea. I think everybody's going to have to do something like that. And then one last thing is, I didn't see any funds set aside. I know we talked about it informally. I know somebody was with me when I talked with you, so I apologize to whoever is here at this meeting that I don't remember you were with me. But the funds that, if we could set aside some funds for council, boards and commissions or something for education and training. I know we'd have to set up policies and procedures on how to access or ask for that money and also to be reimbursed for it, but something so that we could put a little something towards some of the trainings that are offered through MML or other things. I know other cities, they first put in policies and procedures and then talked about putting some money aside. Could we do something like that?
Sure, of course. Is there
Okay.
a particular amount that we're thinking, or?
Well, I noticed that there was one, did you say account, Denise? It kind of cut out on my computer.
No, a particular, did you have a particular conference that you were thinking would benefit council members to attend, or?
Well, initially it came up, it either was zoning board or the planning commission. Sam had sent something out to them and two of the members had approached me and said, is there any funding for it? And they asked Sam as well, and we all said, no, there is no funding for it. And I just thought if they would benefit them in their positions, and I know planning commission had some few years back, and I don't know what it was for, but I think it would need to be something that would be beneficial that could be brought back to the table and shared with everyone. And we just, maybe in the policies and procedures, put in some guidelines on what is acceptable and possibly some examples of what is not acceptable.
Okay, we
But
can
do it as a team, you know, and figure out what it should be, because things change and they're constantly changing. And for us to stay up on things, sometimes just getting an email isn't enough. And sitting in a professional development or an education or training in some area might be helpful.
Absolutely. We started with the planning. We had Dave Skirdo come in from Carlisle Wortman and do a training, just a basic training. But we can put some money in for some conferences. I'll take a look and see like what a typical planning commission or maybe new council member conference would cost.
I don't think the new council member would work. The way it's written in MML is that as an elected official, you knew that you were going into this, but after that, that's what I was thinking. You know what I mean? There are some things that are helpful, and there's also scholarships out there, and we'd assume that somebody would go toward a scholarship or a grant or something to help pay first before it would come to us. That could all be decided in policies and procedures.
Okay.
We can put the guidelines in.
I am a member of the MML. If there's anything that you guys need to get, I can probably access that information a little better. Again, I've been on the MML now for about a year. So if there's anything we need to get from the MML that you guys can give assistance or not.
I think we're all members of MML, aren't we, Denise? I know I am.
I don't know.
I had to submit it. I had to actually submit an application to be on the MML. They and they put me on the water division of the MML. So I don't know if we're all MML members or not. I never see anybody else's names on the MML list, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I get stuff from MML as the city manager, but I don't know if each individual council member is a member.
Oh, okay. Because I know I am. It's really beneficial, and we can be members because the city's a member as well. So anyway, just food for thought, something to do in the future.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
And that's it for my comments.
Denise, I have a couple questions.
Okay.
Are you sure you're not shorting yourself on personnel, eliminating another part-time employee? Every year we're eliminating one. You definitely have enough people?
At the moment, we have enough people. I think there's going to be some changes. We're still looking to hire somebody else at the water plant. Linda is still considering clerical assistant in the department, but we're not quite there yet.
Okay. And I mean, to me, the budget looks really good. I don't see much of anything that we could take out. Fortunately for us, we have 1.8 million in the bank. So even if it is a tough year, you know, we've got a good savings account. Do we have any idea how much extra we're going to put into the pension fund?
Linda?
That really depends on where we end up the end of this year and, of course, the budget for next year.
Okay.
So percent of the net revenue over expenditure for the general fund and the water fund.
Okay.
And right now, we were looking at, I can tell you, we're expecting to end the 1920 with 290,000 fund balance or positive revenue over expenditures. So it would be 30% of that.
Okay, great.
Let's hope.
That's very good. How many fire hydrants do we still have to paint?
Joe Doan?
We've got about 30 hydrants left.
How many?
About 30.
Okay, so what's Kathy been up to? That's a joke, people, just a joke. That's all I have.
Anybody else?
Anyone else?
I have a question on the welcoming signs. We don't know much about them. We just know that it's $25,000.
We just put $25,000 in. What we're going to propose to do is go out for a request for proposal and see what artists came up with within our budgeted amount. But we don't know. We don't know what they would look like yet.
Well, and that is the kind of thing that I would hope if it's on our wish list, with the uncertainty of everything, hopefully we don't rush into a few things like this and we need to wait for this whole upside down situation we're in to kind of settle out. Money we lose, money we don't get, and those aren't necessary. You know, the welcoming signs, the banners, the arms. I don't look at those as necessities. They might be able to be done in this budget, but we just don't know.
I think that we had, like Mr. Bumbus said, Mr. Martin, we do have a $1.8 million fund balance, so we do have enough money. That's, you know, 35,000. So we won't rush into them, but I think that will be okay.
Well, yeah, and we have a fund balance that a big project or a big issue can bite into that, like our seawall would have or could have, and it's great to be ready for the necessities.
Of course.
Yeah, I don't think we should be digging into the fund balance. Unless it would be like an emergency or something.
So if you remember when we met with the auditor, the general fund provides our working capital and adequate cash flow for operations. And the state of Michigan recommends a fund balance at least 10% of operating expenses, and Algonac has a fund balance 78% of operating expenses. So we do have enough money. We did try to make it a very careful budget.
We just have to see how it plays out. I'm sure it'll be fine.
And we will be able to tighten our belts. We all know how to do that at home. We'd be able to do it for the city as well if we need to.
Well, I just, you know, we know.
And that would be one thing that could be taken out and wait a year.
We do know school districts that had fund balances and all of a sudden they're gone. And
You're right there.
Cities can fall into that too. And we just have to be diligent like we have been in the past.
I agree.
Can you hear me? I guess I'd just like to add that it really isn't a blanket authorization to spend everything that is in the budget. You'll have one more time to look at and actually approve as we go.
Thank you.
If I could speak, I'd just like to give a thank you to our city manager, to Linda Mackey and Sam and everybody, all our municipality that has helped in working together with our fabulous city council that we put together to put the city in the right direction. And I think we got a real good team.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I agree.
concur. Yes, absolutely.
I also appreciate all staff.
Thank you.
I think you all do a great job, and I greatly appreciate everything everybody does.
Thank you.
And my cat does too.
See your cat.
Is that the council cat?
You guys do an amazing job, and every year everything comes back amazing. So I just want to say thank you for everything you guys do, and especially the long hours you guys put in. I drive by here sometimes and it's 6:30 and then 6:30 at night, and Linda Mackey's still in her office. So I just want to say thank you for everything the whole administration does.
If you went by at 8:30 at night, it'd still be there.
I was gonna say, isn't 6:30 early for you, Linda?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we're making comments, and I know we haven't talked about the city goals and objectives, can I make some comments about that at this time? Am I allowed to? One of the things that I really like, Denise, that you're doing is having that interdepartment collaborative approach to everything and cross-training people. I think that is really, really smart, and it's good for us. So when someone's missing, somebody else can take up the slack. And the other thing is staying up to date on the legislation and the legal issues. My gosh, look at what we're getting every other day or every day, all the executive orders and everything else, that we need to be on top of all that, and I really appreciate it. If we do have any visitors here with us, City Clerk has created an absent voter counting board so that we no longer have to count on election day, and that'll really be helpful, especially when we're hearing we're going to have more and more people voting absentee, if that's the way it's going to, be, and so that'll be really, really helpful. So that's wonderful. And I also like that we're looking at moving to everything to electronics. I think that's real important. The money looks like it's in there for council so that we don't have to get packets and we can save on paper. We're, good for the environment. And I just think that would be a nice way to handle those things. In the fire department, reactivating the Ready Neighborhood program. The times we're going through right now are more than ever show that we need to be aware of what's going on in our neighborhoods and our neighbors. And I know, Rocky, you're taking care of Aunt Pat all the time and being right there for her. And you would have done it even if she wasn't your aunt. And I know it. And other people are doing the same thing. And I think it's so important right now. In the public works, I know, Mike, you talked about where are the valves in the city? Where is all this stuff so that we know where things are? And that's ongoing. And I think that's wonderful. And to clean up the streets, Joe Vernier, thank you, because they get dirty. They need to be cleaned. And we don't need our own street sweeper, but once in a while, we can clean the roads up. We're asking our neighbors and our community to clean their properties. And I think we need to do the same. In Treasury, of course, Linda, you got the purse strings for us. But you've decreased everything by combining our mailings with our communication newsletter. with our utility bills, and we're able to get all that done and get it mailed out a lot cheaper and having it sent out instead of doing it in-house. And I think that's great. And I like that you're going to implement online bank direct. I'm sure you're going to do that so that we can make check payments too online, and that would be wonderful to go directly in. And last but not least, our public works. You can see it happening in this and in the past, is that we're improving the performance of the existing high service pumps. Kudos to everybody on the administrative team for coming up with such wonderful goals. They're also working with the DPW at the water plant to identify where those 275 plus valves are in the city, and know what all the main sizes are before we have an issue. And I think that's wonderful, proactive. Great job. I'm very pleased with the budget, looking at it and with what the goals, and we're going in the right direction. We're moving and grooving.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you for bringing up the goals and objectives that each department has outlined in the budget proposal. Yeah, we all work together as a team in our staff meetings, and when you look through the budget, I mean, we're going to have a lot of new things that they're going to be accomplishing. Another thing, like the city clerk is going to be working on, is a new welcome packet for all of our new city residents. So they'll get information about the city and about their council members and what's going on in the community. Moving everything electronic, renting a street sweeper. It's really some things that we really need to get done. So thank you for mentioning all of that.
And one more quick shout out to our first responders, Joe Doan and his team, our sheriff department, and everybody who's on the front line there. From myself, I just want to give a shout out. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Denise, back to you.
Nope, that's all that I have. So thank you very much, everyone.
All right. Well, let's start with council comments. Councilwoman Meldrum.
I just want to thank everybody for the hard work that they did to get this budget out. It's a pretty good budget from what I can tell.
Thank you.
Councilman Martin.
I thank all city employees for their input and their work on the budget. And to everyone, be safe.
Councilman Scarbic.
Good evening. I just want to thank you guys all for your hard work and dedication to Algonac, and I hope you guys are all being safe and being healthy. Thank you and have a good night.
Councilman Blair.
Looks like everything has been said. I just want to say stay safe. Algonac ahead, Algonac forward, Algonac alive. Everybody have a great night. We'll see you next week.
Mayor Pro Tem Gillis. Turn on your mic.
That's the first time anybody's ever asked me to talk.
I ask you every meeting to talk.
I want to say thank you to the staff for the great budget that they put forth. You know, honestly, as a council person, the city of Algonac staff sure does make us look good every day. You guys make us really look good as a city, and us as council people look good because you guys do such a great job. So thank you all for everything you do. I'm shutting off my.
Councilman Bembas, I think he's done.
Well,
Just
a couple things to touch on. You know, the swimming pool. Everybody, you know, worries about us losing money on it, but 65 kids took swimming lessons. That comes to $1,000, less than $1,000, about $700 a kid to save their lives because now they know how to swim. Well worth the loss we take on that pool. You know, everything in here, I've gone through every line. There is absolutely no fat in this budget. Anything other than pure basics is an investment in our city, like the signs and the banner holders and all that. So I think it's a really good budget. I agree. We don't want to spend money we don't have, but we do have almost $2 million. And I don't think this COVID is going to hurt our budget as much as what people think. The economy's already slowly starting to turn around. And if I could, but I know I can't, but I'll do it anyways. Is it possible to make a motion that Linda Mackey can never retire?
I'll second it. And I've always said I'll never second a motion sitting in this chair.
Thank you, everybody.
Well, I want to thank everybody for your effort. Denise and your team, you've done great, or I should say our team. Rocky's right. It's because of you that we're looking as good as we are. One of the things that I have always been taught by my mentors is that you surround yourself with good people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I walked into city council, there were already good people in place, and that is wonderful, and I'm so pleased. But not only that, we have good people at the table, at the council table, and that's wonderful too. And I think we work very well together. And I love that we communicate, not just individually, but with each other, all together we do. And I just hope going forward it's going to be the same way. It's wonderful. This is nice. I've never sat through such a nice budget meeting. This is wonderful. And with that, Councilman Blair, is there anything you'd like to add?
I would like to add adjourned.
Do I hear a second? Roll call, please.
Hang on. Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Gillis?
Sure.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mrs. Meldrum?
Yes.
Mr. Scarbeck?
Yes.
Mayor Stoneburner?
Well, if Rocky can say sure, I'm going to say why not?
Okay. Put that in the yes column. Mr. Bembas? Mr. Bembas?
Yes.
Mr. Blair? We did that already. Sorry.
I could say yes again. If you want, I'll say sure. I'll do a round.
Sure. Motion carried.
Hey, everybody, stay safe.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I miss everybody.
I know, me too.
Me too.
Seems like it's been
Good night.
forever.